As we embark on the exploration of the Supreme Court's 2023-2024 legal year, let's first understand what the term legal year signifies. In legal parlance, a legal year is a period during which the judiciary reflects on its past decisions, addresses pending cases, and sets the tone for the upcoming legal challenges. It's a time when the judiciary takes stock, ensuring the seamless administration of justice. Now, one significant event that marked the beginning of this legal year is the swearing-in of senior advocates of Nigeria. This solemn ceremony holds profound implications for the dispensation of justice. The conferment of the title Senior Advocate of Nigeria is a recognition of legal excellence, experience, and contributions to jurisprudence. When these distinguished legal minds take their oath, it symbolizes a commitment to upholding the highest standards of legal practice. Their induction not only honors their individual accomplishments, but also reinforces the integrity of the legal system. 58 learned counsel were conferred with the rank of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, SAN, which is in line with efforts at advancing the cause of justice in Nigeria. These senior advocates play a pivotal role in shaping legal arguments, offering expertise and contributions to the development of the law. As we navigate through the Supreme Court's legal year, we'll delve into how the swearing-in of senior advocates influences the dynamics of court proceedings and contributes to the evolving landscape of justice in Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. I am Eucharia Clinton. You're welcome to Nigeria Today. Joining me in the studio to discuss the Supreme Court 2023-2024 legal year is Chief Ifesi Modo. Ifesi Modo is a legal practitioner. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, you just had an introduction there, Ifesi. Let's begin by telling us what the term SAN entails to someone that is not in the profession.
Okay, thank you very much for having me this evening. SAN entails is an abbreviation for Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Senior Advocate of Nigeria means that you have gotten to the highest position in legal practice as an advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So that is what it's meant.
Okay, still talking about this legal year, I see or hear they call it Supreme Court 2023-2024 legal year. Now, does this mean this is specifically for the Supreme Court? Do they have other,
Yes, each court has their own legal year. For instance, the Federal High Court, they have done their own legal year. The FCT High Court, the same thing. So each court, mainly Court of Records, High Courts, they do their legal year. But the Supreme Court, I can say, is the father, the grand norms of all the courts. So immediately they do their own legal year. So it is assumed that all the legal year in the country have commenced.
Okay, which means from what you're saying, this is the beginning of another
new year for legal practice.
Okay.
For legal practice, yes.
Okay. Now, talking about the conferment of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the rank of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Now, what does the conferment of this prestigious rank of the SAN, or Senior Advocate of Nigeria, what does it mean to the judiciary?
Okay, what the conferment means is that the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, as I've rightly said, are people who have distinguished themselves in the practice of law as advocates. Although now we have some of them who are not advocates, they are academians, but they have also inculcated them in as Senior Advocates of Nigeria because some of them agitated that they have also proved their level of intellectual capacity in classroom. Therefore, they should also be recognized. So that is why we now have academia and advocates. So when you get that position, it means that you have gotten the highest rank as a legal practitioner.
So speaking still about the confinement, what does it mean to the dispensation of justice in Nigeria?
Okay, what it means to the dispensation of justice in Nigeria is that it means that the Nigerian judicial system is making waves to ensure that the rule of law is being maintained in the practice of law. So what it entails also is that it shows that there are some people who started from nowhere in the legal practice, and they are coming up and coming up and coming up. At the end of the day, they have contributed their quotas in dispensation of justice, in making some arguments, in bringing new innovation, in some precedents of law. So that is what it means.
Okay. Now, Chief Ifesi, now talking about the ceremony itself. Now, during the ceremony of the conferment, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, said something that is worthy of note. I'll quote him. He said, "So watch your utterances." He was talking to the senior advocates of Nigeria that were just conferred with the rank. So he said, "So watch your utterances, watch your actions, and watch the kind of company you keep, because you have already assumed the role of ministers of the court, as you are now expected to assist the court to attain justice, equity, and fairness in all ramifications." Now, if you say looking at the existing SAN now before the conferment of these ones, we've had cases where they represented their clients in court, and their cases were struck out either by lacking in merit or not on the grounds of technicalities. Even some were struck out because the court lacked jurisdiction, by my understanding, which means they filed their cases in wrong court. And these are people that we respect because of their wealth of experiences in the court of law. Now, some of them are so embarrassing that you now begin to wonder, is it that they do not know some of the stand of the law in some of these cases? Now, Ifesi, what I want to know is this, now looking at all this put together, how well, in your assessment, would you say that they have performed in their role as ministers of the court, as well as in their, assisting the court in attaining justice, equity, and fairness?
Thank you very much. I really love this your question, because one, in every association, there must be bad ones. There must be bad eggs. Even amongst the senior advocates of Nigeria, there are some of them that are not all that good, although they are senior advocates of Nigeria. So some of those people, they may be the ones the CJN is referring to. But there are some of them who are so good, who help to make sure that the law is being advocated the way it's supposed to be. So those ones, you cannot use because of the bad ones to say that all of them are bringing matters in a court they know that doesn't have jurisdiction or frivolous matters. Yes, actually, there are some senior advocates of Nigeria that file matters in courts. At the end of the day, the court will strike it out for lacking in merits, for lack of jurisdiction, and so on and so forth. Remember that these senior advocates of Nigeria, they are mere human beings. They are mere mortals. They make mistakes. Some of them are there actually. The one thing about this our profession. Some of them are there actually. Not even matter of trying to state the law how it is. But some of them are interested even in the cash part of it. So some may say bad cases and they say, okay, in as far as this matter is, they will pay me money. Let me go and do it and try my luck. And you know one thing with law, you can never tell. There are some certain things you can use in law to outsmart your colleague. Some of them can come by word of technicalities. Although technicalities have been abhorred, it is no longer in vogue. This is the era of substantial justices. But there are some judges who also look at technicalities. So at times, because of that, some of those they say we fly. So that is it.
Okay, now could you elaborate on any significant legal reforms or development that occurred during the last legal year? That's worthy of a note.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, I said, could you elaborate on any significant legal reforms or development, that occurred during the last year that, is worthy of note?
There are a lot of, the legal reforms. I must be frank with you. I cannot elaborate in any of them now because let me even be frank with you. People are really not happy somehow with the legal system in Nigeria and judiciary. And some of us who are even lawyers are even scared of the people because at times when they hear you are a lawyer, they will be annoyed because of the decisions coming out from the courts these days, which
Okay, let's just look at in what ways, like we have a new set of senior advocates now. In what ways can these senior advocates influence legal arguments and contribute to the development of the law in the country?
Thank you very much. There are many ways they can do that. They can do that by trying to ensure that they take up pro bono cases.
What do you mean by that?
Pro bono cases is free matters. They can go to the correctional centers to look for indigent, I won't call them prisoners because the law has abolished that. People who are being detained in the prison, in the correctional centers, some of them are there, they don't have lawyers who will take over their matter. They can also liaise with Legal Aid Council of Nigeria, where they can do free matters to some people. There are a lot of people who need justice in this country, but the problem is the approach on how to get it. For instance, I have a matter I'm doing in court. They are not paying me anything in that matter, and I'm doing it for the sake of what? It's a pro bono matter, because the person I'm doing the matter is an indigent person. I don't want to mention the court or the person's name. You understand? But that is what some of these legal, senior advocates of Nigeria, although some of them used to do that. And that is why some of them were able to get to this position. Because there's no way you can be elevated to senior advocate of Nigeria without you doing a lot of pro bono matters. So doing that pro bono matters is part of what they will do to ensure that they contribute to the legal system in this country.
Development.
Yes,
Okay.
and development.
Now, earlier on, you talked about having bad eggs among the SANs in the country, that in every, not just this profession, in every profession there must be some bad eggs. Now, how can these bad eggs be checkmated?
Thank you very much. If you look at, there's what they call Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee. They are the body in charge of checkmating both lawyers and senior advocates of Nigeria. This Legal Practitioner Disciplinary Committee, if you see something, say something. If you see wrongdoing from a senior advocate of Nigeria or even any lawyer, you go to Legal Disciplinary Committee to complain. They will hear you. No matter how powerful that SAN is, they will invite him. He will come and answer. If they find him wanting, breaching the ethics of the profession, they will suspend him, or they will debar him, or they may remove the rank of SAN from the person, depending on the findings of the committee.
Okay, do you think over the years this has been very effective?
Very, very well. Very, very effective. Even to be frank with you, last week on Monday, I was at that committee where I was representing a lawyer, though not a senior advocate of Nigeria. I saw a senior advocate of Nigeria appearing representing another ordinary lawyer. Sorry, there's no lawyer that is ordinary. Representing non-senior advocate of Nigeria. Yes. And there are some senior advocates of Nigeria that they have reported there also. If they report you and they find you wanting, they can't say because you're a senior advocate of Nigeria, we will allow you. No, they will not do that. If they find you wanting, they will do what the law stated in the rules of the professional conduct, which is known as RPC.
Now, having said that, how does the judiciary contribute to maintaining the pillars of democracy, particularly during the Supreme Court's legal year that we are, entering? Of course, the one that just passed. Let me talk about the one that passed. I don't want to talk about the one that we're just.
Can you repeat this your question?
I said, how does the judiciary contribute to maintaining the pillars of democracy? Looking at the past, how have they contributed to the pillars of democracy?
Anyway, the judiciary, is part of the arms of the government. We have three arms of government: the executive, the legislators, and the judiciary. And these three arms of government must work in order to ensure that the government works. So the judiciary contributing to the democracy. I used to tell people, it depends on the angle you are viewing it. Whenever you take a matter to court, one party must emerge. At times, the party that emerged victorious in court, they will be happy saying that they have done the law. Whereas the other party that lost in the court will say, judiciary is bad, judiciary is wicked, that these people are taking bribe. But the point is this: have you seen direct? How can you ensure? How can you prove that this man really takes bribe? But in other way around, at times the judiciary, in their contribution to the growth of democracy in Nigeria, I hope that's your question. At times they conflict themselves, thereby making people to lose hope.
How do you mean? What do you mean by that?
They contradict themselves. What I meant that they contradict themselves is that you will see this court giving a different decision and another court giving a different decision. You will see, for instance, when two parties are having matters, they will come to the court, for instance, Court of Appeal. In that Court of Appeal, they will rule in a matter that this is an internal affairs of a political party. They will come in another different matter that is exactly the same fact with that case and say that and rule otherwise, which is contradictory.
So what does that say of the judiciary?
That shows
as a legal practitioner,
yes,
how do you see that?
Yes, that shows that the judiciary need to sit up. The judiciary, they need to sit up. Because a lot of people, to be frank with you, many people are telling some of us that they are no longer proud. Even if you go to social media, you will see somebody say, my son, my daughter will not read law. Because of what? The way the judiciaries are handling matters in this country.
But you know that there are some misinformation, disinformation in the social media. Some things are not really true.
Yes, not only social media. Okay, let me tell you, for instance, how will we talk about what happened in Kano State in this recent past, about bringing out a CTC?
Okay. Chief Ifezi, we are not talking about the situation in the Kano State. We're talking about the judiciary and how it can be better. Now you just entered the Supreme Court's new legal year. Yes. Now, what are your expectations for this legal year?
Okay, my expectations is that in as far as there is life, there is hope. My expectations is that the Supreme Court should sit up to face the challenges in order to, one, determine matters with fairness. And not only that, as at when due. At times there are some matters before they give you a date in the Supreme Court. It will take like 5 years, 10 years. It is wrong. So the judiciary, they can sit up, they can decentralize the Supreme Court, just like Court of Appeal, so that each region will have their own Supreme Court. It will make matters to be very fast. It will make people to hear their matter. At times, if you are doing a matter with somebody, for instance, if you start a matter with somebody in a lower court, the person will be boasting with you. Before this matter gets to Supreme Court, both of us may not even be alive again. But it still happens. You will see somebody doing a matter from high court, not even a magistrate court or district court, from high court. Before the matter gets to Court of Appeal, to Supreme Court, they are spending almost 30 years. So imagine that they are living like 50 years then. Add it to 30 years, that's another 80 years. So how many people live to that extent? So it's a very big problem.
So another thing I would want to know, Chief Isfesi, is that in your opinion, what are the most notable cases during the Supreme Court's past legal year, and what impact do you think they had on the legal system? Some of the notable cases that were decided in the past legal year, and what impact do you think it have on the legal system? Because you said so much about, lawyers, SANs, and even the Supreme Court. So what are some of the cases that you think notable cases?
Anyway, there are a lot of notable cases. The Supreme Court, they have said in the past legal year, which I cannot be able to mention them one by one. But I know there are a lot of notable cases they have really done, or they have really passed, that is a precedent today in the legal profession. Yes, there are.
Okay.
Yes. So,
and lastly, before we go, what would be your advice as the Supreme Court steps into the new legal year? What would be as a legal practitioner, you've been practicing for a while?
Yes.
From my understanding.
Yes, 13
and
years.
Of course, you've had a lot of 13 years.
13 years, yes.
Wonderful. Now you've had some experiences, some challenges.
Yes.
So what would be your advice to the, for lawyers generally, and of course, for the Supreme Court legal year? What would be your advice to legal practitioners generally?
My advice to legal practitioners generally is that, more especially legal practitioners who are in litigation, is that they should have patience. You have patience because it is not easy at all. One, there is no much money, more especially when you are starting young. But as you keep moving, it will be coming. So my advice to lawyers generally is to be patient, to be prudent in their duty as lawyers, and to be truthful to their clients. If you are truthful to your clients, you will be truthful to the courts. And if you are truthful to the court will know the truth and use the truth you told it to work, and the whole system will be good. So my advice to all of us, including me.
Including you, yes.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. Is that we should have patience. We should have hope. Because at the end of the day, things will be better.
There's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you very much, Chief Isfesi Modo, a legal practitioner. Thank you for your time and your thoughts there.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today is weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am your carrier, Clinton. Goodbye.